Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of the Art Cunningham Show. It's good to see you. And it's good that you're going to be with us for the next 30 minutes here on your favorite cable show. Have some good news for you. The good news is that, it won't be hot always. How about that for good news? Well, the other thing is we're going to talk about a program that I don't know how much you know about, but a program designed to help young men who are just coming out of prison or who have problems with the drugs. My guest is going to talk about what the organization that he represents does for individuals like that, so that you can share that same information with someone whom you know. So stick around. We'll be back in a moment with my guest. We're going to focus on the Network for a Better Future. The Chief Operating Officer is Darryl Lindsey, and a participant who's Jermaine Davis. Welcome, gentlemen.
Welcome.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you gentlemen could arrange your schedule to come and spend some time with me to share with the community what an organization like yours can do for, most male participants in their families or in their neighborhoods. Now, I say male participants, I don't know. You may have something to offer females also. I don't know that, but we will know in a moment. Darryl, let me begin with you. You're the Chief Operating Officer. And let's see, the organization that you represent, which is the Network for a Better Futures, has been around for how long?
5 years. We actually officially launched in January of 2008, and I should just be clear, we rebranded ourselves in March of this year, and we're now known as Better Futures Minnesota, in partnership with Better Futures Enterprises, which will be the national label.
So you're no longer known as the Network for Better Futures?
That's correct. Better Futures Minnesota.
I see. All right. Now tell me, are you a part of a national network?
At this time, no, we're not. But we want to grow this model and build a model that can be recognized and adapted in communities nationwide.
Mm-hmm. Darryl, are you a part of the original organizational structure?
Yes, sir, I am. I actually came to the organization in March of '07. We began doing a pilot from March through December of 2007, and once fully funded, we launched the organization in 2008.
Tell me a little bit about the structure. How are you funded, and what does the management structure look like? Now, you don't have to be all that detailed, because certainly. We have other stuff we want to talk about, but give us a bit of a feel for.
Certainly. We are a nonprofit organization, a 501(c). We have a founder and CEO and president, which is Steve Thomas. We were initially founded by several of the local strategic partners who wanted to try to do something to address this problem where men who are, returning from incarceration, dealing with chronic unemployment, dealing with histories of chemical dependency and homelessness might have an opportunity to break that cycle of dependency, no longer be locked into a cycle of dependency and locked out of opportunity. So we have a president, a chief operating officer, myself, chief financial officer. We have what we call life coaches that work directly with the men. We have a business arm that has a general manager and crew chiefs that supervise our work crews. We also have some housing in our portfolio, and within that housing, we have program assistants that are there to supervise that housing and work with the men who live in our housing.
How are you funded?
We get our funding primarily through philanthropy at this point in time, but we want to change that model and go more to a pay-for-performance type model. One of our chief funders at this time is the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. We've also received funds from the Kresge Foundation. We also have contracts with Hennepin County. We've also been fortunate enough to be appropriated funds from our state legislature over the course of our existence as well.
Darryl, you pretty much said it, but let me ask you to, if you could be a bit more succinct in stating the mission of the organization.
We are a social enterprise that embraces and engages men who are returning from incarceration, who have histories of chronic unemployment, who have histories of chemical dependency, histories of homelessness. We want to help these men to change that particular paradigm in their lives and get to a place where they're self-sufficient and an asset to themselves and to their families.
You know, how do these individuals know about you, and how do they get to you after you know about them?
Well, we've been very deliberate in introducing this particular model inside several state institutions around the state. We also, on a regular basis, go into the Hennepin County and Ramsey County workhouses, as well as our strategic partners, Summit, Turning Point, Twin Cities Rise, RS Eden, and others, routinely refer individuals to us that they come in contact with that are struggling and they believe will be able to prosper from some of the services that we offer.
Well, now, looking at the organizations that you just mentioned, do you offer services that they don't offer, or is this just a cooperative effort?
It's both. So it is cooperative effort, but if you think about it, what we're trying to do is each one of the organizations I mentioned before take various pieces of the puzzle and put it together. What we at Better Futures believe is we are the whole puzzle. So we're looking at putting folks together as far as their housing, employment, their health insurance, making sure they have health insurance, and then providing them with a life coach to help them navigate the various systems that they will have to navigate in order to build their lives up.
Darryl, would you quickly take us from the time, do you send recruiters to these different organizations that you just mentioned, including the prisons?
The short answer is yes. Okay. With our strategic partners, they are very aware of what we do, so we don't have to send a recruiter there. They typically, will refer an individual to us because they know that referral process. But yes, we do reach out to state institutions, primarily Faribault, Stillwater, to the case managers there to make sure that men coming out of those facilities are aware of our existence and the services that we offer.
Darryl, quickly take me through, rather than I say quickly because I don't want to get into too much detail, but quickly give us a look at from the time your recruiter goes to the institution to their first day in your organization.
Ideally, what's going to happen is we've already briefed case managers at the various institutions. They will make an announcement or posting in those institutions that the recruiter would be at the facility on a given day at a certain time. For those individuals interested, they can sign up and be part of the briefing. A recruiter shows up, he goes into a briefing room, he briefs a large group of men about who we are, what our expectations are, and what services we offer. Those who are interested will get a one-on-one interview with the recruiter, and if in fact they are sincere about wanting to transform their lives and do something different, then he will begin to advance the process of taking them to the pertinent documentation for them to enroll with Better Futures.
Okay, so they have all the information, they have filled out whatever papers they need to fill out while they're in prison.
Yes, they can do that while they're in the institution or upon release from the institution. There are a number of men who quite often will show an interest but won't sign up while in the institution. Once they get released and get out here to the cold reality that there are not a lot of things available to them, they show up to our facility and, again, re-engage with the recruiter. They do the requisite documentation to get them enrolled.
Okay, so they enroll. What happens?
Well, once enrolled, what we want to do is, upon enrollment, you're going to get immediate access to safe and sober housing through our guest house, which is a 32-bed facility operated in North Minneapolis. You then will also get signed up for health insurance. You'll be required to get a physical, a behavioral health assessment. Your life coach will begin to work with you in putting together what's called an individual prosperity plan. So what is it that you want to do now with your life? All right. One of the other core fundamentals is you'll get access to employment. We run work crews and we have our own business activity. So since our launch in January of '08 through the end of December 2012, we had enrolled and served over 600 men. Of those 600 men, 378 had worked on our work crews, and those work crews had earned roughly $1.9 million over that period of time. So we truly are trying to be a social enterprise that are bringing services to the men. We also, upon enrollment, get the men signed up for health insurance. Right now that's through Medicaid, so there's no cost to the individual initially. Once signed up for Medicaid, we want them to get a physical, we want them to get a behavioral health assessment so they understand what's going on with their own body, they understand what's going on with their own mind. It also identifies any chronic diseases that we may need to get them into some type of treatment or services for. We have, to assist us with that, we've developed a health home at Hennepin County Hospital, so the men get directed there for their physical. We also have a relationship with psychologists, and so the men go there for all their behavioral health needs. Once all of that's done, the men are connected with their life coach, and the life coach begins working with them to advance that individual prosperity plan.
All right. And those individuals are called participants.
That's correct.
All right. Well, Darryl, let me talk to you for a moment, but before I begin, I want to find out how life has been for you. But before I do, I'm going to remind our viewers that I'm chatting with the Chief Operating Officer, Darryl Lindsey, and Jermaine Davis, who is a participant in the program that I thought was called the Network for a Better Future, but I understand that they have rebranded themselves and are now Better Future Enterprise of Minneapolis?
Better Futures Minnesota.
Better Futures Minnesota.
That's correct.
All right. And so what we are doing here is sharing information that would be useful for perhaps some member of your family as well as the community. Jermaine, let's talk a bit. How did you hear about this organization?
Well, I was incarcerated in the Hennepin County Workhouse, and I was, just listening to people talk on the gallery, and they was talking about the network. It was the network at the time. Mm-hmm. And it grasped my attention, so I came to the bars and was listening, and then I asked them for the information. They told me that all I had to do was put in a kite to the officer and that they'll get in contact with me. So I did that. And I think it took like 2 days. Jeff Williams came and talked to me, asked me what my goals is, what I wanted to do. And I told him everything that they offering, it was things that I was already on, but I couldn't really find the proper resource to do it. So this was something I would be really, really interested in. And he said, call him the day that I get out, and he would, enroll me in the program, which he did.
Well, let's be clear for the benefit of our viewers. You were in Hennepin County Jail,
mm-hmm.
and you had been sentenced to how much time?
180 days.
And how much time had you done when this person contacted you?
I think I had like 2 months left.
And you were already signed up when your time was up.
Uh-huh.
And as soon as your time was up, take me from there.
Well, I got out at 5:30 in the morning. I made a call to Jeff Williams on a Saturday.
5:30 on the Saturday morning.
Right. He picked up his phone. That's when I knew that it was real, because most organizations